Hey, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Lights. I hope everybody is doing well. Hello, Marlo. Nice to see you. Good evening. Thank you for joining me tonight. So, for those of you who do not know me, well, I am Joshua the Psychic, and I do readings, coaching, classes, etc. You can find information about myself on my website, psychicsun.com. In fact, you can find your horoscopes for the lunation that we're going to talk about tonight, the Taurus New Moon, on my website as well. And the link to that is in the description below. So we have a Taurus new moon on May 7th. That is Tuesday, May 7th. And tonight we're going to explore its significance and how it's a time for setting intentions and embracing new beginnings. We're going to discover how this lunar event can influence our personal growth and stability. So what is a new moon? If you don't know, well, we have the full moon and we have a new moon. And the new moon marks the start of the lunar cycle. And it's a period ideal for reflection, intention setting, and initiating new projects. It's the perfect time to do so, or almost the perfect time. Mercury is direct. It's not quite out of its post-shadow period, but it will be on May 13th. But still, it's a good time to initiate new projects. It represents a clean slate, this new moon, and a time for personal renewal. And the energy of Taurus is quite nice, especially after our tumultuous last 2 months with Mercury retrograde, eclipse season, and the full moon in Scorpio we had on April 23rd, which was squaring Pluto. So the energy of Taurus is certainly welcome. Taurus is a fixed earth sign, meaning they're stubborn and stable, and they're ruled by Venus. And Taurus emphasizes stability, beauty, and practicality. This new moon on May 7th encourages us to ground ourselves and to focus on what provides us security and pleasure. And that is what Taurus wants. Taurus usually just wants two things. They want security, stability, and sensuality. They want to feel great in their bodies. They're an earth sign. They're a physical sign. So we can all aim to do that by getting more stable and more comfortable and feeling really just amazing physically. Hello, Grace. Nice to see you. Hi, Casmar. Thank you for joining tonight. So we have this energy of Taurus. It's going to be wonderful and certainly welcome. And this new moon also has some very sweet aspects. Nothing really negative going on aspect-wise this new moon. It makes a harmonious sextile with Saturn. Now, Saturn is the planet of discipline, restriction, and responsibility. It is the glue that makes our plans real. And because the new moon is making a harmonious sextile with Saturn, we have a stable foundation, this new moon, for growth. The new moon is also aligned closely with Uranus, planet of change and unpredictability. That's famous, epic Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. We're probably still feeling the effects of that. So this new moon will spark innovation and significant changes in our routines. And because it's a positive alignment, these changes are welcome and most likely pleasant. So we'll look at here. You see the moon and the sun are at 18 degrees Taurus. They're underlined here in blue. And you see how close Uranus, which is highlighted here, it's very closely aligned. It's only a 4-degree orb. And then over here, we have Saturn, which is at 17 degrees Pisces. And Saturn, because it's in Pisces, is making a nice sextile, a nice 60-degree angle to that sun and moon, particularly the moon. So it's going to be a very, very nice influence. If you're looking for some calm after the past crazy 2 months, well, you got it. I think it's well deserved. Now, Venus is very important this new moon because Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus. And Venus, this lunation, is in the sign of Taurus. So the Venusian energy is particularly strong. So we can expect a focus on enhancing relationships, financial matters, and personal values. This is a beautiful, beautiful gift we've been given this new moon. New beginnings and personal growth. So it's an excellent time, this new moon, to reassess your values and also the resources that are at your disposal. Taurus is a very abundant sign. It's about the natural universe. So consider what you have and how you might want to invest it, including your talents. Taurus is also about talent, right? And a long time ago, in biblical times, a talent was a unit of measure. So you would give it talent to get something else. Nowadays, what we do is we use our talents to make money, right? And that's what Taurus is. It's about the abundance of our natural abilities. The theory being, when you're utilizing your natural skills and abilities, you're abundant. And with a dose of common sense, you can monetize your natural skills and abilities. So this is a wonderful time to explore your gifts, your natural inclinations. It's always a good idea to follow your excitement and see what you might be able to create, because that creation energy is really, really key. It wards against depression, right? And it also can help you to be more abundant. So definitely create as much as possible you can this new moon cycle. So embrace the stabilizing and renewing energies of the new moon. You might want to set intentions that align with your true desires and just prepare for a period of growth and prosperity. So you may have noticed we have a coding motif in this presentation. You can think of codes as the underlying scripts that guide our beliefs and our behaviors. You could also look at them as energy templates that we have, right? So we're born into a world in which we're taught straight away, this is life, this is the way things are. And you can look at it as coding, positive or negative, right? It's coding. And this coding refers to the process of these program scripts that we have, right? And we create these codes through our thoughts, experiences, and perceptions. So just like software, our mental coding influences how we perceive the world and how we react to it. By understanding this concept of coding, we recognize the potential to rewrite our mental codes, creating new patterns that align with our desired goals and life narrative. So if you want something new in your life this cycle, so say you're always passed up for the job that you want, that might be a paradigm, that might be a code. Well, this new moon, you can say, well, I'm going to create a new coding in my brain. You might want to visualize numbers. You can create coding on your own and just get that in your head. And then when something goes awry, you can say to yourself, oh yeah, I created a new code. I'm creating a new story. And you can actually visualize coding going into your brain. You can visualize new coding being sent to yourself when you were a baby, right? So you can offset any of the negative limiting beliefs that you were brought up with, right? And that's really, really key, right? We inherit a lot of our parents' beliefs. And just by evolution alone, we're going to get better, right? Kids today are way smarter than we were when we were their age, just by virtue of evolution, not taking into account technology, etc. So you can utilize this new moon to create new codes. You might want to write a wish list and say, okay, well, I want more prosperity in my life. Well, what's the code for that? And can I visualize the code going into my brain, right? That could be very, very helpful. So create new patterns or new coding in your brain that aligns with your desired goals and your new life narrative. So our thoughts shape our emotions, which then drive our actions. And by consciously cultivating positive thought patterns, we can recode our brains to align with a new narrative for our lives. And meditation could be very good for this. You could get in a meditative state and visualize new codes that are aligned with what it is that you want. You want a relationship, there's a code for it. You want a job that brings you lots of money and lots of emotional, creative fulfillment. There's a code for it. So consider that. This new coding empowers us to create a story filled with growth, alignment, and purpose. And through intention and mindfulness, we hold the power to transform our mindset and ultimately shape our destiny. So think about what new codes you want to introduce to your brain this new moon. The new moon is at 18 degrees Taurus. So you may want to find out where 18 degrees Taurus falls in your astrology chart. That's the area that is ripe for new beginnings. It's a blank slate. It's a tabula rasa. So look for where 18 degrees of Taurus is in your chart and look for where you might want to create new things in that life area. What do you want new in that life area? So Buckminster Fuller, who was an American architect, systems theorist, writer, designer, inventor, philosopher, and futurist, he said, "You never change things by fighting against the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the old model obsolete." And you hear me say, or you hear in law of attraction, what you resist persists. So you don't want to fight against something because that's just going to make it stronger and fortify it. Instead, you want to go towards something else, right? So you don't want to always think about fighting anything or getting rid of it so much as, well, where are you going, right? And then when you're going, the old story or what you were doing before, it's null and void. It's irrelevant. So keep that in mind. We're going to start with Aries, of course, our first sign of the zodiac. So Aries, this new moon in Taurus is hitting your second house of finance, values, and self-worth. So it's time to invite more financial abundance into your life. It also is a great time for you to pursue new financial opportunities, express your talents, your natural talents, and determine how you might want to invest in yourself. What do you want to nurture within yourself? Or what projects do you even want to nurture over the next 6 months? Some advice: create some new coding that aligns with the prosperity of the universe, the natural abundance of the universe. And that's going to be helpful, not just for money, but also for your health, right? Because the more you can connect to the energy of abundance, the more everything in your life is going to flow better. So let's see, Aries, what wisdom you get from the tarot this new moon. Wisdom for Aries, wisdom for Aries, wisdom for Aries, wisdom for Aries. King of Wands. Well, I love this because the kings in the tarot are ruled by the cardinal signs, and the wands in the tarot are fire, and this is cardinal fire. This is the card, the court card for Aries. So the King of Wands is very enterprising. He's the one that sits back and says, this is what we could have. He creates a vision, right? And he's able to implement his vision with his leadership. So if you build it, they will come. Think about what is your ideal scenario or what you think there should be in the world, and create that vision, foster that vision, and implement the vision. Be a leader. That's a great card for you, Aries, and happy new moon. So Taurus, happy new moon in your sign. Happy birthday. This new moon, of course, is hitting your first house, which has to do with your identity. It has to do with the first impression that you make. Hello, nice to meet you. That's what people see. So you may want to redefine your personal identity. And because of that, your appearance, right? It's more about making sure that you're seeing yourself in a different way. Because if you're seeing yourself in a different way, you're going to act in a different way, and your expectations are going to be different, and they're going to yield different results. So you may want to embrace a new look. Might sound rather vain or shallow, but It's a first house thing. Like how you appear matters. So you might want to freshen up your wardrobe. You might want to get your hair did. First house also has to do with your vitality. So this is a great time to boost your physical health. Maybe if something is bogging you down or making you feel like crap, maybe you say, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to switch to this instead of that. And also, it's all about your personal projects and what you initiate for yourself. So if there's anything that you think should be done, well, go for it. You may want to create new coding this cycle that aligns with your true self-expression. The first house is all about your identity and your authentic self. So what can you do that is going to express yourself? And what values, keyword for Taurus, values, can you prioritize? Because that's what happiness is, value fulfillment. And with Uranus having been in your sign the past few years, your values may have changed. So you might want to check in with your values this new moon and say, you know what? This actually matters to me more than it had before. So there might be a shifting in values. And if your values have shifted, well, make sure you're initiating projects to achieve those values, because happiness is value fulfillment. So let's see, Taurus, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your new moon in your sign. Wisdom for Taurus, wisdom for Taurus, wisdom for Taurus, wisdom for Taurus. I love it. Ace of Wands. An Ace of Wands in the tarot is a new identity. Ace is a 1. This is a first house transit for you. Isn't it cool how that works out? So the Ace of Wands is a new identity. It's a very, very high energy card. It's actually the second high energy card in the deck, the first being the Sun. So with the Ace of Wands, you have a lot of energy. The Ace of Wands is like a blazing torch. You could put it toward whatever it is that you want. A new identity. You could put it toward cleaning your house. You could be putting it toward an entrepreneurial endeavor. But it's a raw energy. So you want to make sure that it has focus. So determine what it is that you want and put that blazing torch toward it. The only thing with the Ace of Wands to remember is that it is a wild, raw energy, and it needs to have some kind of direction and focus. So you'll have a lot of energy this new moon, but you want to make sure that you're directing it in a way that is practical and that is in alignment with your values, especially your up-to-date values, in case they may have changed. And happy new moon in your sign. So Gemini, this is a interesting new moon for you. It's a 12th house transit. So we're gearing up for your birthday month, but even more so, you got Jupiter heading into your sign, Gemini, making you the celestial favorite of the year toward the end of May. So you want to rest up. You want to get your sleep in. You want to reflect, recharge your batteries. You might not want to take every invitation that you wind up getting. This is definitely a good time for you to chill and take it down a notch and catch up on your sleep and your rest. So seek inner peace over the next 2 weeks from the 7th of May. Explore spiritual insights. This is a very spiritual transit for you. And you want to release past burdens. The 12th house is the last house of the zodiac, and it's the house of endings. So there may be certain things that you're just done doing. And it is a very karmic transit. If you find yourself in the same position over and over again, well, I'm sorry to say, but it is you. It is your fault. It is what you keep attracting and inviting into your life. So the 12th house is also the house of self-undoing. It's how we sabotage ourselves. So with this period of reflection and rest, you can look at yourself and say, okay, well, obviously I need to change because this keeps happening over and over again. And you can create new coding after you identify what you may have been doing to undo yourself, right? So create new coding that promotes healing and spiritual growth. How can you grow and create a new story for yourself this cycle? And let's see, Gemini, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your new moon in Taurus. Wisdom for Gemini, wisdom for Gemini, wisdom for Gemini. Oh, I like this. Page of Pentacles. So the pages are the youngsters of the tarot, and the pentacles are the earth suit. So this would suggest that, you act almost like, you're just getting out of high school, you're just getting out of college, and you're like, oh, I need to make money. How can I make money in a creative and fun way? You want to start something new with a sort of a youthful vibration attached to it that is practical. So what can you do new that's earthy, that makes you feel like a young kid, so to speak? Maybe you're going to embark on a new fitness journey, or maybe you're going to decide to take up a new hobby or a skill, or putting yourself in a position to get a new kind of job for a new kind of career. So you want to start from the basics when it comes to something earthy in your life. Think money, think health, think your reputation, whatever it is. But the Page of Pentacles is a great card, and it's about new opportunities. So look out for those new practical opportunities in your life, and be like the Page of Pentacles. Be young and enthusiastic, but also practical. The Page of Pentacles as an archetype might be that straight A student who always gets her work done on time and shows up for everything that she's responsible to do, right? So keep that in mind, and happy new moon. So Cancer, this new moon in Taurus is hitting your 11th house. That's a very fun transit for you. So the 11th house has to do with your friendship, your community, and your highest hopes, dreams, wishes, and goals. The 11th house asks, why not? Why can't you do it? The theory being there are no dangling carrots in the universe, that if you have a desire, a true desire, that it comes with the built-in prerequisite ability for you to achieve it. So consider what you want and what you would do if you could not fail, and go after it. This is a time to enhance your connections with your friends and your social groups. You may also want to strengthen your friendships. That's also an 11th house theme, friends. Community is really big, so engage in community activities. This is a great new moon for you to find your tribe. If you feel like you don't have a community, this is a great time to find a group of people of like-minded interest, which is an 11th house thing, people of like-mindedness. Also, of course, dream big and pursue your goals. You might want to create new coding that fosters community and the realization of your dreams. So maybe there's a code for you to achieve that goal that you have, like the goal that you want. It can be achieved, but what's the coding that you need to have in your brain that allows you to achieve it? What do you need to believe? Or what's the coding for that great community that makes you feel really supported and noticed and understood, right? So keep that in mind. And let's see what wisdom you get, Cancer, for your new moon in Taurus. Wisdom for Cancer, wisdom for Cancer, wisdom for Cancer, wisdom for Cancer. Ooh, 10 of Pentacles, the rich card. So the 10 of Pentacles is essentially, well, it's a 10, right? So it's the climactic point of Pentacles, which is the earth suit. So you want to think about a solution that can last far into the future. Like, what can you create, or what can you do that actually has feet and groundedness? In terms of a relationship, you might want to think, okay, well, is this person somebody that I could be with forever? Is this a job that I could do forever? Is this something that has a lot of longevity? So you want to find a solution that can work far into the future. And you also want to consider what legacy you want to leave behind, right? The 10 of Pentacles is about bequeathments. It can be about the legacy that you leave behind, be it children or babies, like projects, right? Your projects that you have that you want to put into the world. So think for the long term. Think about what could last far into the future, and give a think too about what you might want to leave behind. What do you want your legacy to be? And that's very, very empowering as well. So happy new moon, Cancer. So Leo, this new moon is hitting your 10th house. You're going to be the man or woman of the hour. Professionally, you're probably going to be singled out for notice over the next 2 weeks from May 7th. So the 10th house is how the world sees you. It's your position, it's your status, it's your honors, it's your awards, it's your reputation. So you want to focus on your career achievements. What have you achieved thus far? And your reputation. You're probably reaching this climactic point soon, right? So you want to think about, what do you want to build professionally for yourself? What reputation are you building for yourself? Where do you want to go professionally? What's the next step? And you want to utilize this new moon to initiate those steps, or at least plant seeds for those new steps professionally. So use the new moon to advance your career. Seek public recognition. Leo wants to be noticed, and that's not a bad thing. And you also might want to utilize this time to define your professional goals, with Mercury having been retrograde and all the crazy eclipses and the full moon of Scorpio square Pluto, which was not good for you necessarily because it was square to your sign. Now that the dust is settled, you might get a sense of, oh, okay, well, this is what I could do. So essentially, you want to create new coding that elevates your professional life. There is a profession for you, a career for you that is absolutely perfect for you. And it brings you lots of money and lots of prestige, and you love it. What is the coding for that? Even if you don't know what it is yet, there's a code for it. And if you can visualize there being a code for it and putting it in your brain, you might get inspired ideas that you can then implement. So let's see, Leo. And if you know what it is that you want professionally, well, what is that code? And can you visualize it in your brain? So let's see, Leo, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your new moon in Taurus. Wisdom for Leo, wisdom for Leo, wisdom for Leo, wisdom for Leo. I love it! 6 of Wands. This is perfect. So the 6 of Wands is victory. In fact, this card has ruled Jupiter in Leo, right? So this is perfect for you. So the 6 of Wands, it's sort of like the minor arcana equivalent of the Chariot in a way, because it's all about victory. It's about being the best. It's about winning, right? So what can you do this period that allows you to win that trophy? It could also be a matter of finally you get this victory. After so much struggle, you have your day in the sun. And what's cool with the 6 of Wands, it's like that song Eternal Flame. Remember that song by the Bangles, Eternal Flame, from the 80s? That's really what the 6 of Wands is about. It's not this big, fast conflagration that goes out as fast as it comes in. The 6 of Wands is fire and passion that is steady and that can go onward for a very long time. So this is a wonderful card for you. You know, the passion that you have for something in your life can be lit and can sustain. So definitely go after that victory. I would suggest that you follow your passion and you definitely move forward, because there's a good chance with the 6 of Wands that you can achieve a lot of fulfillment and a lot of happiness this cycle. So happy new moon. So Virgo, happy new moon, Virgo. This is a time for you to expand your horizons. You're going through a 9th house transit, and the 9th house is all about your higher mind, how you can broaden your horizons, and how you can really expand and grow. So you can expand and grow by going on a trip to a foreign land. You can expand and grow by doing a deep dive into a subject. Maybe you want to explore law or philosophy or spirituality. Maybe it's time for you to get another degree or a certification. But essentially, you want your mind to expand, because you're going to probably have itchy feet, and it's going to be time for you to decide, what else is there? What else is there to life? Because your brain is really itching to find out more and explore more. So this is a great time for you to plan travel, to pursue higher ed, explore philosophical ideas. The ninth house is all about you experiencing more of the world and the world experiencing more of you. So you could go on a trip and have yourself experience more of the world and other people in these foreign shores experience more than you. Or another ninth house aspect is publishing and broadcasting and entrepreneurship. So if you decide to embark on an entrepreneurial path, people all around the world will be experiencing you. And as a result, you'll get the boomerang effect and you'll be experiencing them. It will be a nice dialogue between you and greater consciousness. So this cycle, you might want to create new coding that broadens your worldview. How can you see things in a broader, bigger way, a higher minded way, right? So you really want to think about if you find yourself being petty, you might want to say, okay, well, how can I look at this from a higher vantage point, my higher mind? So let's see, Virgo, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your new moon in Taurus. Wisdom for Virgo, wisdom for Virgo, wisdom for Virgo. Five of Swords. So Five of Swords, essentially, is you don't want to fear defeat. You want to create coding in which there's win-win results all around, right? The Five of Swords can often be about being nervous or being concerned about being taken advantage of. And sometimes you do need to watch your back, right? But with Five of Swords too, it's more a matter of making sure that you're looking for those win-win situations. The Five of Swords is usually about going for the win-lose result. If I win, somebody else is going to lose. And if they lose, I win. And that's not abundant. You want to think of abundance. There's plenty for everyone, right? God is never going to send your mail to somebody else. So there's no need to fear defeat. I would create new coding in your brain that says I can have win-win relationships. And happy new moon, Virgo. Happy new moon in Taurus. Thank you for your question in your super chat. Go to, does this apply in any way to sun signs, or is it really only applicable to your rising sign? You can listen. I would listen if I were you to your sun sign and your rising sign. You could listen to your moon sign too, but I would definitely listen to your sun sign, because I find in these horoscopes, tarotscopes, that they're very, very much reminiscent of the sun signs. Like with the clients that I read, I'm like, oh, wow, that's so interesting. She's going through this. So I would listen to your sun sign and your rising sign. You can also add your moon sign, but I would definitely listen to your sun sign and your rising if you could. Thank you for your question. So Libra, happy new moon, Libra. This new moon will be in your fellow Venetian, Venus-ruled sign. So it's a nice Venetian transit for you. However, it is going to be a little bit intense. Even though Libra and Taurus are both ruled by Venus, Taurus and Libra make a quincunx, which is an awkward 150-degree angle, because they have nothing in common except for Venus, I guess, right? But Libra is cardinal, Taurus is fixed, Taurus is earth, Libra is air. So this is going to require a little bit of an adjustment, but it's good. This is a good time for you to adjust. Because it's an 8th house transit, it's a time to transform and metaphorically die and let go of what doesn't serve you any longer, and to set or dissolve boundaries. So the rule of thumb is, if something's making you feel bad, erect a boundary. If something's making you feel good, maybe put down your arms and let that in deeper. Remove your boundaries or dissolve your boundaries, right? So the 8th house has to do with what we get from other people. So this is a wonderful time for you to address joint finances or even joint enterprises. If you're doing something with somebody else or you want to, this is a good time to embark on that new journey of collaboration. It's also a time of great emotional healing. The 8th house is really all about letting go and being empowered by what it is that you release from your life, and explore intimacy. The 8th house is very much about intimacy and how you can be empowered through that death, right? Because that's what sex is. The French call orgasm the little death, right? So you want to explore intimacy as well. What do you need sexually? What do you need intimately? And not just sexually, but emotionally. How can you feel close to other people? Do you want to feel close to other people? So it's a very soul-searching transit for you, Libra. You might want to create new coding that deepens trust and regeneration. So if you have a desire, you want to create coding that says, oh, okay, of course I can achieve my desire. And you also might want to do whatever it is that you can to establish more self-trust, because if you trust in yourself, you're going to be able to attract other people that you can trust, right? So let's see, Libra, what wisdom you get for your full moon in Taurus, which is transiting your 8th. Wisdom for Libra, wisdom for Libra, wisdom for Libra, wisdom for Libra. 10 of Swords. So this is actually not a bad thing at all. The 10 of Swords, they might call it the worst card of the deck, but I like the 10 of Swords because it often means that the only place is up, that the worst is behind you. So if you've been going through a rough time, the 10 of Swords says that's all done. The worst is behind you. The best is yet to come. So essentially with 10 of Swords, if anything has been really plaguing you or bothering you, you're about ready to put it to rest. And if something is in your life that is driving you nuts and creating a lot of chaos and problems, this is your sign to let it go and to move on, because you don't want to have so much mental anxiety. But essentially with the 10 of Swords, you want to allow yourself to let the past go, take responsibility, and when you're ready, and make it sooner rather than later, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back in the race for what it is that you want, right? But let things that are troublesome go if you can. And happy new moon. You're welcome. Go to. Hey, Sassy Me, nice to see you. So, Scorpio. So, Scorpio, this is hitting your 7th house. The new moon in Taurus will be transiting your 7th house of partnerships, which is wonderful. So it's a time for a fresh start in your long-term relationships. Now, this is not just romantic. It certainly can be your spouse, your long-term boyfriend, partner. However, it also is your long-term relationships otherwise, like your best friend forever, or consultants that you've had over the years, or a business partner, right? And this is a wonderful time for you to say, okay, well, it would really help me if I had this new relationship or this new partnership in my life. Pursue new relationships, pursue new partnerships this cycle. You also might want to fortify, strengthen the partnerships that you're already in. And the 7th house does rule contracts. So if you're looking for a new contract, this is a great time to explore it. Again, this could be very, very advantageous for you financially. There might be a new contract that you can get. So you essentially want to create new coding this cycle that aligns with rich, fulfilling relationships. And again, it can be a person, it can be your spouse, it can be your business partner, it can be your best friend, but you also have a relationship with your bank, right? You also have a relationship with other entities. So consider where you want to have better relationships and what you can do to foster their growth. And let's see, Scorpio, what wisdom you get from the tarot for the Taurus New Moon. Wisdom for Scorpio, wisdom for Scorpio, wisdom for Scorpio. Ooh, Judgment. So the Judgment card is the taking of a definite step. So we hem and we haw and we procrastinate and we wait and we deliberate. And then the Judgment card is, it's happening. Making moves, right? So with the Judgment card, you're taking a definite step in the right direction, or in a direction that you feel compelled to do. The Judgment card is about hearing a call. Like, okay, I have to do this. It could be great inspiration. It could be artistic inspiration. It could be a call from your higher mind that says, no, you've got to leave this job. You've got to leave this relationship. Or the Judgment card can also be in terms of relationships. If I knew you were coming, I'd bake you a cake. Meaning, where have you been my whole life? You could meet somebody and bells go off. And you're like, I'm going to marry this person. It's crazy, but I think I'm going to marry this person. So trust your intuition and allow yourself to look for those calls that you can't deny. And don't be afraid to take definite steps, because the Judgment card is the rebirth after the death of death, the death card in the tarot. So that's going to be pretty interesting for you. It's a new beginning. It's a new season, a new era for you. So enjoy that, and happy new moon. Sagittarius. So this is a interesting transit for you. It's a 6th house transit. So it's all about your health and your work and your routines, the day-to-day nuts and bolts operations that you have to do to keep your life running smoothly. So it's important for you to think about what you do day in and day out, because we might take our habits for granted and our routines for granted, but really that's what creates our lives, right? What we do day in and day out. First, we create our habits, and our habits create us. So this is a wonderful time to improve your health, your routines, and your service to others. The 6th house is about service, how you can be of service to your fellow human beings on a practical basis. And that can be very fulfilling to you. So you might want to utilize this new moon in Taurus to adopt healthy routines. Maybe it's time to start a new workout regime. Maybe it's time to clean up your diet. Maybe it's time to read more or go to parties more, because you know that that makes you happy. It's a great time to organize your daily life and say, you know what, I need to get things in order. I need to streamline my processes, or even create processes that serve your goals, and also offer help to those in need. I think Sagittarius is just such a kind sign, and I do think that they love helping other people. So think about how you might want to help other people, because those who bring sunshine to the lives of others cannot help but giving it also to themselves. So you might want to create coding this new period, Sagittarius, that promotes wellness and efficiency. What's the code that makes you feel as perfect as possible? What's the code that allows you to streamline your work in a way that is productive and artful, perhaps, and just makes your life so much easier? You know, when we get focused on our process and we can fall in love with our process, the results tend to take care of themselves, because as we know, a watched pot never boils. So if you get involved in your process, then the results come more expeditiously. So let's see, Sagittarius, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your new moon in Taurus. Wisdom for Sagittarius. Wisdom for Sagittarius. Wisdom for Sagittarius. Ooh, 7 of Wands. So the 7 of Wands means you're going to have to go out on a limb. You might have to take an unpopular position. The 7 of Wands is all about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Going out on a limb and putting yourself in a position in which you're feeling, you're really sticking your neck out there. But the 7 of Wands, it's also about, bravery and valor and being very courageous. And Sagittarius definitely has that side. They are pretty chill people, really. However, there are times in which they have very, very strong ethics and morals and things that they just won't abide by. So with the 7 of Wands, might be about making a very big, bold move, something that takes you out of your comfort zone. Because with all the activity that we've had over the past 2 months, with eclipses, with Mercury retrograde, even that full moon in Scorpio square Pluto, things have changed. So now it might be a matter of, well, this is what I want to do. So be bold and make your moves. Feel the fear and do it anyway, right? Think about what you value now in your life and what you need to do it, even if it's scary. So you got this. Capricorn. So Capricorn, this is a nice transit for you. It's hitting your 5th house of play, pleasure, joy. your creations, including your children, if you have any children. And as a result, you want to allow yourself to be a little kid inside, right? You want to feel like you're young at heart. That is the point of this transit for you. You want to feel light. Keep your heart light, for Pete's sake. So it's a time to spark creativity and romantic engagements. The 5th house does have to do with romance. So that's great. So you might want to utilize this time, Capricorn, to initiate creative projects. Anything that lights you up that you're excited about. Pursue romantic interests. You could be meeting somebody very, very quickly, especially with Uranus in the mix. The thing is, the 5th house is usually about affairs. It's usually somebody who's good in bed or fun to hang out with, but not necessarily a great partner. I mean, ideally, our 5th house playmate also makes a great partner, 7th house, but that's often not the case, right? So this is more of a playful type thing. And if you have a partner, you're already spoken for, well, this is the time for you two to start acting like teenagers. Go roller skating, go to the beach, go on vacation, enjoy leisure activities. This is definitely a time for you to kick up your feet and play. And you might want to create new coding that brings joy and passion into your life. So Capricorn is a sign that grows old in reverse, not just aesthetically, because they start off with a lot of responsibility in the world. And as they grow older, they actually look younger, right? It's very Benjamin Button. If that's the order in which it happened in the movie. But also not just aesthetically do they grow old in reverse, but also they learn as time goes on how to relax, how to have fun, because they were given so much responsibility early on that it takes them a while to learn how to have fun and play. And this is the transit for you to really invite that fun and play into your life and to make up for lost time, because you most likely had a lot of responsibility when you were growing up. So let's see, Capricorn, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your new moon in Taurus. Wisdom for Capricorn, wisdom for Capricorn, wisdom for Ooh, you get the 10 of Pentacles too. I love it. So the 10 of Pentacles is the wealth card, right? So you might want to think about what solution could last far into the future. Maybe this is the project of a lifetime that you're going to implement, but you want to think big. You want to think big and think really rich. Think rich and think big. And in terms of relationships, think about what actually can be solidified long term into the future, right? And with the 10 of Pentacles, consider what you want to leave behind, your legacy. This could be, the children that you leave behind, or the physical objects that might be like children, like books, right? Your babies might be your books, or your creative projects, right? So think about what you want to leave behind, your legacy, and consider those big, large-scale projects that you might want to implement that could bring in a lot of wealth. So think big. I would advise you, if you are looking to create a big project that is going to generate a lot of wealth, well, make sure that you're around people, even if you're reading their books and watching their videos, who have done what you want to do, because then you're going to be in vibrational resonance with those people. So you don't want to hang out with whomever you want, but if you have big goals, you need to hang out with people who also have big goals, or even better, have achieved those big goals. So be practical and get their energies around you, and go for it. And happy new moon, Capricorn. Thank you, Casmar, for your super sticker. I appreciate that. And you're Sagittarius, 12/12. Happy new moon. I'm retired from 40 years in healthcare, now taking care of an old disabled husband alone. Well, I'm glad you're encouraged by my reading. And I would also say, Terry, you don't have to do it all on your own. Meaning, if you're in the position in which you have to take care of somebody, I know that can be challenging, but if you can utilize this new moon to connect with the abundance of the universe, connect with nature, plants, animals, or whatever, so you can feel that abundance. So it's not feeling like you're the one who's having to do this all the time, right? Connect up with source and the abundance, and that's going to make all that you have to do a lot easier. Do it from that place of, maybe even do whatever it is that you have to do from that place of Christ consciousness or all that is. That's a good thing to do. So it's like we do things that are rather mundane, like washing the dishes. But what if we wound up saying, well, I'm going to wash the dishes from the perspective of all that is? And then even mundane things can become magical. So good luck, Terry. I hope you're hanging in there. And Aquarius, of course. So Aquarius, this new moon is hitting your 4th house. It's angular. So it's a time for you to really nest and rest in a lot of respects. A 4th house transit, it's a very domestic transit. It's a time for you to focus on your home environment and your family relationships. But, really, it's whatever makes you feel at home within the self and helps you develop that deeper sense of self-trust and emotional security. You want to feel really at home within the self. The 4th house is your foundation. It's where you go to collapse your home, right? It's where you go to restore yourself. So this is a great time for you to enhance your living space. It's also a good time for you to deepen your family bonds, to connect with people that are your family of choice or family of origin, whomever gives you that sense of feeling cared for, loved, supported, and nourished. It's about achieving deeper self-trust at the end of the day. So you might want to create new coding that nurtures your personal life and comfort. So say you're looking for a new home and you don't necessarily know what kind of home that is or how you're going to get it. What's the coding for that? What's the coding that is going to make you feel really warm and fuzzy and tucked in, right? But you want to really tap into the energy of the Divine Mother this transit. And what is that coding? And most important, I'd say with the 4th house transit, how do you need to nurture yourself? Because all of us, even though we may have had wonderful mothers, we still need to learn how we need to be nurtured. Because at the end of the day, that's the process of individuation. You understanding how you need to be cared for personally. So utilize this transit to find out what is your love language or your nurturing language. Like, what do you need to feel really at home and at peace within the self? It's all about internal peace, this transit. So get comfy and let's see what wisdom you get from the Tarot, Aquarius, for your new moon in Taurus. Wisdom for Aquarius. Wisdom for Aquarius. Wisdom for Aquarius. 8 of Cups. Interesting. So the 8 of Cups is the moving on card. This is like leaving the rat race. You're like, I'm kind of done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. So maybe there's something in your life that once brought you a lot of joy and fulfillment, and now you're like, kind of over it. It's not really bringing that much. Or it could be a matter of you're moving on from things that undermine your sense of emotional security, that don't make you feel good, and you're moving on. But with the 8 of Cups, you're going toward a better place, but you're also leaving that past behind. So consider this transition, this transit, what it is that you might need to leave behind in order to make your load lighter, and what you might have to walk away from to feel more emotionally secure and grounded and really good and yummy on the inside. There might be something that's making you feel bad that you need to walk away from. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship or a job. It could be, but maybe it's a belief, right? Or maybe it's a habit that you have, right? So keep that in mind, and happy new moon. Pisces. Hi, Pisces. So this new moon in Taurus is hitting your 3rd house. It's a social house, which is good. I'm glad you're getting a 3rd house transit when Mercury is direct, although it's going to be even better come May 13th when Mercury is out of its post-shadow period. So this is a time, Pisces, for you to enhance your communication skills and learning. You may decide that you want to learn something new, or maybe even you want to teach something new. There may be a new creative project afoot, Pisces, something perhaps even that involves your hands, because the 3rd house correlates with Gemini, which correlates with the hands. So it's new thinking cycle for you. New thinking and new communication cycle. So you may want to use the next 2 weeks from May 7th to the 23rd of May to engage in new studies. Maybe there's something you want to learn. Maybe it's a one-day class, right? You may want to strengthen your communication skills in some capacity. You may also want to expand your network and really even check out your neighborhood. The third house has to do with short distance trips. So you may want to pursue something in your neighborhood. It's a very social house, the third house. So maybe there's a group of people that you can hang out with, new people, and just start conversing and talking, be it with your neighbors or people of like-minded interest, etc. So essentially, Pisces, you want to create new coding that enhances your connections and your knowledge. So if you're learning something new, well, maybe you put the code in your brain. Oh, I'm really daunted by this new thing I have to learn, but there's a code that I can put in my brain that's going to help me to learn it faster, right? So visualize that. Pisces is very magical. And I think that Pisces, because they're also so imaginative, if they can imagine a code that corresponds with what they want, and they can feed that code and visualize that code going into their brain, well, I think that Pisces could make strides in record time. So think also about the coding you need to think in a way that is advantageous for you. So let's see, Pisces, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your new moon in Taurus. Wisdom for Pisces, wisdom for Pisces, wisdom for Pisces. The Wheel of Fortune. So that's great. So the Wheel of Fortune is about karma. And whatever it is that you may have been wishing for may actually come to you this cycle. The Wheel of Fortune is also about opportunity. So you're probably going to find some big opportunity coming to you, probably something communication-wise. You may receive a note, a letter, or correspondence. You might hear something. And you're going to probably need to respond to it. So with the Wheel of Fortune, it spins for all of us. You don't want to be in the wheel and like thrown around by whatever happens, right? You want to stay centered at the hub of the wheel and grounded and focused there, especially this new moon. And you're going to see the wheel spin, or you're going to see some opportunity come up, right? And that's going to be like the Wheel of Fortune spinning. And you're going to say, okay, well, this is my chance. I'm going to go to it. Let's jump on it, right? Or the Wheel of Fortune can also be about cycles repeating. So again, stay at the center of the wheel, the hub of the wheel. And if you're seeing something, you're like, oh, I see. This is happening again. This cycle is repeating itself. No, I am not doing this again. So you want to keep in mind that whole thing about cycles. This could be a new cycle. This could be an ending of a cycle. This could be a cycle repeating. So determine this new moon what new cycle you want to invite into your life, and be vigilant for those cycles that you do not want to repeat, because the Wheel of Fortune is very karmic. Hopefully, this card is saying that there's something you've been wishing for a while, and now it's destiny. You're getting a sense of destiny. You're getting a sense of fate, which is another meaning of the Wheel of Fortune. So happy new moon. And I think that does it for us, folks. Thanks so much for joining me. So many people live in the chat. I do appreciate you joining. Thank you so much for even watching this on the replay if you are. Like and subscribe to my channel, of course. And if you're interested in any of my services, well, check out my website, psychicsun.com. The link to my information is in the description below. And tomorrow, if you're catching this live, Friday on May 3rd, we will be doing This Week Astrology at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So do stay tuned for that tomorrow if you are so inclined. The link to that is also in the description below. So have a wonderful new moon in Taurus on May 7th, everybody. And I shall see you soon, for sure. Bye-bye.